Being a bordering country, Bangladesh is the worst victim of the systematic ethnic cleansing operation of Myanmar against the Rohingya minority. The prolonged presence of a huge number of persecuted people entails serious ramifications on the economy, environment, security, and socio-political stability of Bangladesh. If the problem persists further, it may affect the security and stability of the entire region and jeopardize development initiatives. A persecuted and desperate community, with their aspirations and grievances unattended for decades, is always prone to radicalization, large-scale human trafficking, widespread exploitation, and cross-border terrorism.
In the last 5 years, what we have seen, that Rohingyas, they are not getting a light at the end of the tunnel, that when and how they would be going back. Yes, as per the agreement we have signed with Myanmar, we have sent number of documents, number of people for clearance. But what Myanmar government is doing, unfortunately, that they are clearing probably the head of the family, not the wife, not the mother. Out of 5 children, maybe they are clearing 3, not the 2. So while they are showing, okay, we have cleared about 10,000 people to come back, but not a single whole family was cleared till now. So how do you expect, that mother would leave her son or daughter here and then go back with one daughter and one son to Myanmar? That's not going to happen. So if Myanmar is sincere, and if the world as a whole is sincere, they must push pressure on Myanmar government to clear a whole family so that they can happily go back to their own place. And once they are there, I know that the village where they were living is not there anymore. They have done something else. So they may be relocated some other places. So all these and the long duration of staying in a foreign land, they are definitely, seeing a sense of insecurity, and that's not very good. And also, idle brain, it says is a devil's workshop. They do not do much things here. They are just, getting rations and eating food. And this definitely is a potential security threats. The security threats in terms of, you can say that, especially the drugs. The first thing what we have noticed in the last 5 years, the use of drugs, the smuggling of drugs by the Rohingya people, because they have people on the other side, have increased manifold, especially crystal meth, which was not known to this area at all, that also are coming. And there are a lot of factories around the border of Bangladesh. And as you know, that Chittagong Hill Tracts, or the Cox's Bazar area, is a hilly area. There's hardly any road. So people can probably only move single-handedly from here and there. So the first security dimension is that we do find an effort by the government of Myanmar as well to push this drug into Bangladesh, so that our younger generation, whose number of drug addicts are increasing almost by day. So that's one big aspect of which Bangladesh is very much concerned, that our young people are getting, and buying the drugs supplied by the Rohingyas or by the people across the board. That's first thing. Second thing, that Arakan fighting force, the Arakanis, ARSA, you can say, Arakan Salvation Army, that is also active. They live and they fight the Myanmar army regularly. So they might find a suitable target to recruit these Rohingya youths in their domain, and that's cannot be ruled out as a whole. And if that be allowed, longer the duration are, I feel that these people who are already traumatized don't see a good future for them. There's no education, there's no livelihood in Cox's Bazar camps. They're living in ghettos and very congested areas. So there's all these chances that it is not only Myanmar. This might affect the whole region, if it is allowed to continue in that fashion. Yes, So far, our security forces are very active. Border guard, police is very effective, so that we can contain these things within the. But how long, and how far, and what distance we can probably travel. So there is a likelihood that if the world as a whole do not put more pressure on Myanmar to take these people back, to remove this fear of statelessness, helplessness, and also the mental trauma they have undergone for the last 40 years plus, it could be a deep humanitarian crisis.
The Rohingya people also became desperate to get rid of the present situation. They want to return to their ancestral homeland in Myanmar in safety and dignity at the earliest, with full reintegration opportunities. Uncertainty over repatriation entailed widespread frustration and despair among the displaced Rohingya. A progressive rise in criminal incidents in camps and regular attempts of illegal migration are clear signs of desperation among Rohingya. Peace and prosperity of the region are depending on ensuring sustainable return and reintegration of all these displaced persons in their places of origin.
The security, if a security threat arises, it will be because the refugees are not treated well. Because when refugees and large numbers of people are not treated well, that is when radicalization occurs, when you have the emergence of security problems and other kinds of critical, kind of extreme groups emerging and other things. Imagine a scenario where the Bangladesh government says to the refugees, we recognize you can't move, we want to help you, we don't want you to be stateless, we might consider citizenship at some point. What an amazing model that would be for other countries who have treated the refugees in them so badly. It would be amazing. Bangladesh already has done really well, I think, in many ways, in allowing refugees to come and trying to help them, having a positive policy. If they pushed forward, if Bangladesh pushed forward and were even more progressive and welcoming of refugees, including allowing them to have citizenship, it would be a stunning example for the world of what a country can do by way, even a very poor and very crowded country can do by way of welcoming people who are desperate, who have been persecuted and are in desperate situations. What an amazing thing that would be. And I cannot see how that would not be rewarded in many ways if Bangladesh were to kind of take the high ground on this and move forward in this positive way. It's either that or just threaten and make life very difficult for the refugees, and that is what I think leads to security problems.
In recent times, tension among Rohingya people increased dramatically. They are engaging in conflicts as different groups and trying to hold authority inside the camps. A number of Rohingyas were arrested carrying drugs, substances, and narcotics. Drug smuggling and illegitimate distribution seem to be an earning source for these jobless people. The biggest concern would be violent extremism, as this type of vulnerable people may be allured easily to be radicalized. Having a sense of no future, being a stateless and helpless human being, Rohingyas may get trapped with a misconception of religious extremism. A cross-border insurgency may arise due to their rebellion attitude and to take revenge for their distresses against the Myanmar border forces. Though Bangladesh maintains a zero-tolerance policy against any kind of trans-border insurgent activities, her limited number of security forces may not prevent it completely.